amazing. Think about it. Traditions, memories, so much happiness. But food can also bring a lot of stress. Thrive Life wants to take away the stress by delivering simple, clean food right to your door. How would that help, you ask? Well, we've done some research. Approximately 1 in 42 trillion people actually like to wash, peel, and chop fruits and veggies. And approximately 1 in 56 bajillion people enjoy throwing out rotten produce.
Ew.
Our research found that a lot of the stress comes from planning meals. Although 43% of the population claims to pre-plan their meals, we found that less than 1% actually do. So, we had an idea. Let's help people not stress out about food. Enter Thrive Life. Ingredients that are pre-washed, pre-cut, and freeze-dried to lock in all those nutrients and delicious flavors, and they won't spoil in days or even weeks after buying them. Ingredients that aren't loaded with additives, preservatives, or GMOs. And for those nights that you just don't have anything planned or frankly don't like the plans you did have, there's Simple Plate. It's a meal kit that's better than any meal kit you've experienced, according to our research. It's planned, prepped, and pre-portioned deliciousness. And it doesn't have to be made tonight. It's ready when you are. How do we do all that? It's basically magic! We start with the best produce picked at the peak of perfection. Then we freeze-dry it in the most state-of-the-art facility
in the galaxy.
We lock in the taste and nutrients so our produce is as fresh as the farmer's market, which makes it perfect for snacking, by the way. Want to try it out? Simply set up a delivery service account and start shopping. You'll become a preferred customer for free. You get all kinds of perks like free shipping. So why would you want simple, clean food delivered to your door? I think the research says it all. Enjoy simple, clean food that's ready when you are. And make sure the only thing getting spoiled here is you. Try Thrive Life tonight.
are going to be guests on Two Family Homestead's Monday Night Live. Hi guys, welcome to Hope This Works. I'm Gavin Cantori, and thanks for joining us here in Northeast Wyoming. National Weather Service has issued a blizzard warning. Boy, I hope this works. Like I said, it's been a rough winter. We've got both wood stoves kind of cranking. Poof, 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 poof. Keeping our wood shop warm. It's really calm out here. And we have a lot of snow. The snowblower hasn't been able to keep up. We got snowed in. And the drifting was just horrendous the last 5 or 6 days. And we have, well, there's about 4 foot of snow right there. I'm actually walking on probably a foot and a half of packed snow. And this is what we had to do. Road grader got stuck yesterday. Hi folks, this is Kevin from Hope This Works. This is the channel where we will try to educate, entertain, inspire, motivate, create curiosity, and build relationships. We're going to share our tips and tricks, our recipes, our gardening, and certainly our animals. I'm going to share my instructional woodworking projects, construction skills, tool restorations, and mechanical ability. We get some great weather footage here, and we will share the challenges to living on the Wyoming prairie. We will share our worms are easy philosophy. We reuse, repurpose, and recycle, and I am definitely not a hoarder. I'm an inspirational collector. We'll share our homestead hacks. Use what you got and not what you ain't.
I saw it counting down. He has to do this every week, doesn't he? Okay, let's see if I can freeze up tonight. That was last Thursday. Where are we going? Oh, we're going to Wisconsin tonight.
Oh, we're not.
We're not going to Wisconsin?
No.
No, we're not. But
It's a different W state.
It's a different W state.
Yes.
I know. I don't know why I put WI when I did the title. So I confused everybody. You didn't even notice that, did you?
I just set it to videos. Yeah, I just set it to videos. I don't do titles.
So anyway, we're going out of the state of Ohio, where there's still snow. I hope everyone had a great weekend. I think we did. Did we?
I did.
Nah, you were sick. Here, you're sick up here. You didn't hear me say that. Anyway, we have a great channel. Watch them from the get-go. Yeah, Grandma's Garden doesn't take too much to confuse me either, so I'm right there with you. So we're going to get this rolling, and make sure you put your questions in all caps. So if we don't see them, our moderators will, and they'll pester me until I find it.
What are we going to get rolling?
You know, they're snickering back over there in the green room.
In the green room?
It could be the blue room tonight. I don't know.
I don't.
I mean, they're already nervous.
It's the wood room.
The wood room? Yeah, for him, it would be the wood room.
It's the wood room.
The wood shop?
Yeah, the wood shop.
Yeah. Okay, let's get this going.
Get him going?
Yeah.
Want him out?
You want to keep them there?
You gonna let him out?
We can stick them out with smudge.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, so you want them out.
Yeah,
All right.
let them out. It's okay.
Say hi, folks. You have been let out.
Hi, folks. This
Oh,
is Kevin.
Lordy. Bring on the Kevin. There you go, Greenacre. You got it.
So tell us about yourself.
YouTube is my baby, and Billy Joe makes cameo appearances every once in a while when I get a little frazzled. Tell them a little bit about yourself, Billy Joe. See? Actually, I'm the star of the show. I'm Kevin from Hope This Works, the channel all about inspiration, education, motivation, creating curiosity, building igloos out of gigantic snowdrifts in Wyoming, and you name it. Again, she makes cameo appearances.
I thought you turned off the teleprompter.
No, I got a mascot in the wood shop. Actually,
look who you just got.
Huh? Bob. No, yeah, Bob, not Dave. I have Dave in a little bucket. No, not that one. Yeah, I got Dave was a little piece of coal. Never mind. You'll have to go to my second channel and find out the story about Dave.
Elf's Lord Journey says Kevin is the mad professor.
The mad professor.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah.
So
I can agree with that statement from what I've seen.
Sure. I do repurposeful, man. Folks, not man. Anyway, I'm nervous. My heart's beating a little bit.
It's okay. You're fine.
I have my favorite shirt on, you know. Anyway.
So you're sitting in the wood shop. It looks almost like kitchen cabinets behind you.
Yes, and
use what you got.
Use what you got.
Oh, I thought maybe you were cooking up a new wooden project.
Actually, I'm pretty much out of stock. I have some stock items I want to be able to sell, but I haven't been out of the shop because of the darn winter. For like 3 months, I've been locked out of my shop, so I'm actually pretty excited to start making some sawdust.
Yeah, Prepsteader Bob just said, Kevin, the inspirational collector. I like that better than hoarder. Yeah, I think we need to start using that term.
It says, I'm not a hoarder, it's inventory.
Yeah, so, you never know when you're going to use it, now or 30 years from now.
Well, based on some of the videos that you published, you've had quite the winter this year.
Oh, yes. Yes. Part of the country, out of the same storm that just hit us, part of the country, Nebraska, parts are, eastern end is completely flooded. Western end got a lot of snow, and we got the other side of the storm. Parts of South Dakota are flooded too, so prayers go out to everybody geographically that got hit by this thing. We were under a blizzard warning for 2 days. I've never seen anything like it, and I grew up 35 years in Michigan and saw some awful winters. This is probably the worst one I've ever seen.
Wow. So how much property do you have there?
We have 5 acres at the end of a dirt road that's 4 miles away from the pavement. And our property is the end of the road. If you get onto the property, you've gone too far.
Yeah, when somebody shows up here, they came too far.
So the road just dead ends into your property.
Yeah, and right, our property line, the backside of our property line is close to 15,000 acres of private ranch, and then we're actually surrounded on 2.5 sides of that.
Wow.
Now, when you say private ranch, is this I obviously don't know. Is this like a working ranch, a cattle ranch type thing, or what?
Ranch,
they have cattle. They run through sheep. There are actually quite a few working cattle ranches right in our nearby. Long-standing families who have done beef for a very long time.
This is one of the biggest ones that's right out here.
So
a friend of mine has a ranch, and he manages about 20 to 30 head, and I do some construction projects with him. He's my friend, but yeah, his is still a ranch.
So as far as your property, you have 5 acres at the end of a dirt road that's 4 miles from the pavement, and how many miles from town?
Closer to 8, but that's only a town of 11. No, not even 11.
No.
490.
Yeah.
the other direction, there's a town like 12 miles, and it's only 1,100 people. So
This town.
it's just town.
So it's pretty sparse area there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of space between us here, yes.
Daniel, God is my judges, is asking what part of Wyoming?
Northeastern Wyoming.
Yeah.
If you can find Gillette, Wyoming, you can find me.
We are really close to the border. We're actually considered Western Black Hills.
The very tail.
So Black Hills of South Dakota actually come into Wyoming. Sturgis, South Dakota is the Black Hills, Deadwood, Mount Rushmore, all that. And we're just on the west side of that. And then it starts grassland and prairie till we get to the Bighorn Mountains, which are about 100 miles west.
So how long have you been on the homestead, on your homestead there?
3 years and a couple months now.
3 years and a couple months.
Yeah. And I mean, if you had a obviously you had some sort of plan when you moved there. I'm guessing you just didn't drop in one day and say, well, this is it. You probably did some searching. You went out and located this piece of property. You decided you're gonna make something of it. So where are you at in your journey? Are you on target? Are you struggling? Are you ahead of yourselves? What do you feel you're doing?
Some days we really wonder when it's all going to click and the systems work together. But this first 3 years has been such an adventure, and we have, we've been so creative with trying to work with what we have to create what we do own, which is not really. We're very proud of what we have, and very proud, of course.
It's my sanctuary. It's home.
It's our home, right? There's our livestock and my garden and my greenhouse and wood shop and lawnmowers and putting things together. And we wouldn't have it any other way. We see a lot of.
We had a slow start. We did. The first couple winters were difficult. We started. Kevin and my grown son came out here. Somebody said it was available, so he came out and looked at it, and the trailer that we live in was laying on the ground. And so they started with a couple of like cooking spoons, started digging earth out from under it so that they could jack the trailer up, and it took much work to get it that far. So when I think back to all the things that we have accomplished, it doesn't feel like a stall ever. Just the winter time was hard. I think with the amount of systems that we're trying to put together, the way that we all want all of our stuff to interact between
worms, composting, gardening, large crops, small crops, field crops for animals, feed crops, water catchment. It's literally a desert out here. We get 14 inches a year in precipitation, but we had this is an anomaly, of course, if you look outside. But we have to create systems that are unique and inventive that harness this resource that's all giant and white and looks beautiful when you smash it into a snowball and you throw it at your better half.
Some of it looks like meringue right now. I swear, we drove to town and you can see the snow and it's icy and it's white and it's beautiful and it looks like really good shiny meringue.
Mm-hmm.
Shadows the landscape is beautiful, so I wouldn't change it for the world.
Yep.
Well, describe the area for those of us that have
snowbound.
Well,
haven't you seen the pictures? No, it's very white.
No, I don't mean that. I mean, for those of us that have maybe never traveled out west into your area. I mean, is it sandy soil or is it very clay, or is there a lot of rock, or is there trees nearby, or?
I'd like to talk about that. No, there are not any trees.
Not like there are there.
So that drives me bananas. I came from Michigan, and 95% of it was sports.
Right.
And
and that's the Upper Peninsula anyway, and that's statistic there. Anyway, I saw a squirrel or something. I'll keep my hands under the camera, guys. Sorry. Anyway, coming out here, I can see a couple of tree lines, but they're miles away. I've never seen such wide expanse.
Yep.
Sunsets and sunrises, and being able to see for miles is something I've never been able to experience, and I embrace that now. It's coal mining country, so we have like we have the largest national deposit of coal, and something crazy like 70,000 tons of coal go out every single day out of Gillette, which is 30 miles down the road.
Right.
And you see a lot of cows and a lot of antelope. That's what the geography is like, a lot of rolling grasslands, but really pretty. Kind of reminds me of Missouri.
Do you have a pond or water resources on your property?
Actually, yeah, a naturally occurring geographic lake bed, pond bed in our back corner of our property. Gets about a foot of water in it in the springtime when all the melt happens, and it'll be bone dry right around the end of July. This year, we're going to be able to, we have invested in another jet pump, so we're actually going to be able to harvest that water out of that catchment up to our greenhouse and cistern and things like that. So that's a huge step in a forward direction for our homestead is water supply. Mm-hmm. We have a clean water supply. We actually have to haul water in our 3/4 ton pickup truck in a 300-gallon tank. So we drive into town, grab 300 gallons of water, come home, dump it in our cistern, and that's our laundry, our showers, our dishes, and then we purchase bottled water. But being able to harness that resource out there in that lowland is going to be really good for our garden. Absolutely. We plan on growing some larger crops this year.
You treat water differently when you haul it yourself, and if it feels like a finite resource,
sure.
When you feel that you treat it differently.
Absolutely.
So yeah, he was real creative last year gardening, watering the garden. Do you remember how much you said you actually used?
Well, after the pond dried up, I had a garden well, a 16-foot deep garden well that I dug by hand and installed foot valve, drop pipe, and built my own hand pump. Pump I was using, I didn't have an electric pump at all. Pump I was using, kind of made my own pump, and I pumped probably 400 gallons out of that well and hauled it up to feed my garden all year. So just being able to have that resource that we've invested in is a game changer. It really is.
Mm-hmm. What about rainfall in the summertime? And do you have rainy seasons or anything, or
thunderstorms, which is hard and fast?
Okay.
Hard and fast in the spring, early summer. So we have to be able to catch it. I have gutters on my greenhouse, part of the house that will accept some gutters, and my wood shop that will accept. So through some creative math, I know what I should be able to catch in a normal rainstorm, but I need to be able to, one of our major investments is large tanks,
water, yeah.
To be able to hold it for the dry season.
Sure.
Bullfrog Swamp Homestead's asking if there's no trees, do y'all have high winds a lot?
Oh, ma'am, yes, ma'am.
You betcha, Bullfrog. Oh my gosh, I've never seen wind like this.
He hasn't. I'm from Casper. I grew up in Casper, Wyoming, which is the windy city. Okay, people there, you lose doors. I mean, regularly.
Wow.
It's crazy windy there. It's not as sustained wind here, but for Wyoming, a 35 mile per hour wind is a breeze.
Yeah. Really is. This last blizzard, we were getting 40 and 50 mile an hour, and
I remember asking him what wind temperature, wind speed. That's the one. Do you have to get to for it to be a hurricane? I was curious.
Well, that sounds like it would lead to alternative power sourcing, some wind turbines. and so forth, maybe more so than solar.
What you doing? I don't know what he's thinking for.
It's show and tell him in the shot
He's
village,
playing
though.
show and tell.
They're asking if you use
Yeah,
wind turbines for power.
Wind is exactly what causes our driveway. I mean, there's one way in and one way out of here. And the wind is exactly what causes the big, huge drifts that are impassable. So, oh yeah, there's power. Okay.
This is my blade that I've made, and I'm going to make 2 more, and I'm going to attach it to some chains and gears and some things. I'm going to leave it all a secret. Leave it all a secret until it works.
Well, I'm glad you explained that. I was afraid you were going to tell me this is what used to be and this is all that's left.
No, this is the beginning of the project.
Okay, good.
They want to know why you're not up there.
Because I was checking some other things here in the background.
They noticed that you're gone.
They noticed that
They noticed that you're gone.
Well, I'm just not on the stream, but I'm still here.
Yeah.
I like Sherry.
Me too.
Everybody likes Sherry.
Is
the property expensive out there?
Depends on where you're at. Now, Wyoming is a big rectangle.
Yeah.
And some places, obviously, Jackson, Wyoming is a different geography. And
mountains.
Yeah, big, the Tetons.
Mm-hmm.
But most of Wyoming, they're so far and few between. I think probably housing in, the bigger cities, Casper and Cheyenne,
sure.
Probably runs same with everybody else.
I would say somewhat relative geographically to another city that's of same capital. But for rural property, really it's relatively inexpensive.
Yeah.
But it's inexpensive because there's a lack of resources too. Water is huge. So people come out here, this actual general area, have come out here, purchased houses, lived here a couple of years, and bailed because of the cost it would be to drill a deep well that could get consistent water, and you still run into a sulfur smell or an oily smell. We're on a gigantic coal bed and natural gas and crude oil. So really there's nowhere that has a good clean aquifer.
I was not aware that you had coal deposits out there like you do. I mean, we're in Ohio, and I'm used to here in southern Ohio with the coal mines and northern Kentucky and all that. And I had no idea that they had big coal deposits out there.
Yeah, no. I think it leads the nation in production. Saw that somewhere, or second to West Virginia, or something like that.
Wow.
But it's an astounding number of tons that go out of this area.
Well, share with us, if you would, the overall lay of your property. I mean, I know that you do some gardening, so it's not just winter. You do have some summertime there.
Yes.
But do you have a big garden? What's your favorite things to grow? Is your growing season extra short, extra long? Is it extra hot that you can't grow a lot of things? Just tell us about the property.
He ate all the tomatoes. Yeah.
Our property, 5 acre, pretty much square, a little higher at the front side than the back side, a little higher at the south side than the north side. So we got a nice natural slope and maybe a total elevation change of 20 feet. To our low area, which is going to be water catchment. We grow potatoes really well. 2 seasons ago, did kind of like a pilot project, outdoor crop potatoes. I had some gigantic potatoes, and I want to plant an acre of potatoes this year. So that's going to be an outdoor crop. Inside is basically my greenhouse. It's 16 by 25, pretty much all 2x4 framed, all repurposed materials, except $85 of cash that I've spent so far. There's 2 reasons we have a greenhouse. We have it because we can start growing earlier, which don't let me squirrel off there.
Don't start squirreling there. Okay.
And we can grow later. But weather, we get some insane thunderstorms that will destroy, and hail that will destroy your garden just like that. So it's really weather protection. And the wind can just kill your garden.
There were a couple of storms last summer that were slightly destructive.
You know, we've had a few challenges building the greenhouse, but again, repurpose materials, recycle, use what you got, and basically out of necessity. But once we got growing in there, and I love tomatoes, we grew 12 or 13 different varieties.
I didn't know there were that many kinds of tomatoes until last summer. I had no idea that there were that many.
So we're going to do that again this year, but we had like 4 different pepper varieties, and somebody has gifted us another YouTube channel, super gracious. They grow all kinds of different peppers, super exotics, and they know a lot of stuff. They might be horticulturalists or say something, maybe not something stupid, but Joe. Anyway,
I got nothing.
Nothing?
Nothing.
We are super excited to grow different types of specialty peppers. I've made a deal with a gal that I display some of my woodworking in another town down the way towards the state line. She's also running a farmer's market. So I spoke with her a couple of weeks ago, and I said, what types of things are you interested in, or would be good sellers for your farmer's market? Because I just want to just bring your bushel of beefsteaks and things like that. She says specialty stuff like tomatoes and peppers. And I'm like, I got you, lady.
Right.
Okay, so.
We did well with that last year.
Yeah.
Well, mostly him, but yeah.
I spend a lot of time out there. It's kind of a sanctuary for me. My grandfather had a green thumb, plants and vegetables everywhere. That was my father's father. And my father had a green thumb, and I grew up in dirt. So, vegetables wouldn't make it in the house when my sister and I were little kids. And it was so funny. I'd had my shirt full of cherry tomatoes, you know, when we were done picking. And by the time I hit the back door, there was a green bean in there. And Mom and Dad, they'd encourage me, you know, not scold me too much because I was eating my veggies. But so not many cherry tomatoes or purple beauties or yellow pears or
right off the vine,
white cherries. Never make it in the house.
Is there other? Well, I guess kind of describe your area. Are there other homesteads in your area? I mean, it sounds like you're kind of out in the middle of nowhere.
Sean, my buddy I work for, in his ranch, we had this conversation, last summertime. He says, would you consider me a homesteader too, Kevin? And we just kind of went through, I don't know, not like there's really criteria for being a homesteader, but the short answer was, yeah, sure, Sean. Raising beef, raising chickens, raising a family,
taking care of baskets.
You really don't have the 8 to 5 grind. You have to take care of your job at home, things like that. So of course, so I would also start to classify. There's a lot of folks in this area that
may not even think of themselves that way, but probably
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that, as we understand and think of homesteading, I mean, they are homesteaders, but they don't consider themselves to be. They never thought of it that way. That's just the way they do.
They do, yeah.
That's just the way they do.
Practical Modern Homestead asking, what's your favorite thing to grow?
What's my favorite thing to grow? I covered that.
Try eat tomatoes. He likes tomatoes.
I like growing everything. I did really good at carrots.
The carrots were cool.
Carrots were great. Do some onions.
You can do better at pumpkins.
Of course.
Potatoes were really good too. I would like to expand a little bit. I got some new seeds this year. I'm excited about some of the herbs. We have one romaine growing in the house. That's all I have yet. But there are all kinds of things coming. But yeah, his favorite was the tomatoes. I'm still waiting for my strawberry patch to take off. That's my favorite.
We were pretty surprised last spring. I had one strawberry plant pop up from the year before.
Volunteered.
We just kept volunteering. I kept running the runners, and hopeful that they come back again this year. I have some rhubarb going out there. I want to get into some greens, so your lettuces and your spinaches and your different types, and I almost have like a manicured area in my greenhouse of staggered crops that not only look nice and taste good, but are almost efficient for us to harvest and replant, so we can always have the cycling type process. Our ultimate plan is to heat the greenhouse year round and be able to grow not all of our crops, but specific crops, and be able to almost create a schedule and a timeline so as to be efficient with our vegetables that we provide.
Okay, I think I saw somebody a question flash by. What was your favorite tomato? I'm going to guess that's an eaten one.
Favorite tomato?
A ripe one?
A ripe one.
Whatever one was in his mouth at the time.
Yeah, some are super sweet.
Sounds like mine.
But I also saw a question. What do you make from your? What do you make and sell from your homestead that helps sustain your homestead?
My biggest motivation is really digging deep into my hobby and my passion, which is woodworking. It's a way that I can do handcrafted goods out of bartered material, new material.
Yep.
Save money for this, that, and the other thing, and create something. I like the artistic side of that. I'm just starting, again, kind of like a video game. I think I'm just leveling up. I launched my new website, which is going to cover a lot of different areas. It's going to focus on pretty much going to drive the income right now for the homestead until she can branch off and be a full-time entrepreneur.
Well, if you can kind of share that, if you want to share that website, I'm sure that our moderators will pick that up and help.
Drop that link, Kevin.
Drop that link, Kevin. kevinswoodcreations.com. It's going to be a unique woodworkers website. I'm going to be doing a lot of blogging about new tools, new products. Also, I'm going to do maker and woodworker interviews and blog posts. I'm going to focus on customer projects. I have one page that I'm going to dedicate to in-stock items like cutting boards, cheese boards, butter molds, cheese molds, things that the homesteader can use that can be handcrafted and with my artistic feel to it. So it's going to have that side, but it's really going to be more focused. The money that I can generate will be on custom work for the customer and the craftsman. There's a video on there that really outlines this process, this creative process. A customer has a crazy idea to turn a blue dresser into a shelf thingy. I want to be the guy to do that. That will be maybe more driven local sales for things like that. But I encourage, anybody. If I have a pickup, I can travel. Yeah. As long as I've known Kevin, he has worked with his hands. Okay. He comes by it quite honestly. He always tells people that he grew up watching his dad work on engines and take things apart and fix them and put them back together. And it makes sense that he's going to find something like this. And wood is beautiful.
Oh, man.
It's gorgeous stuff. He has an inventory of wood that is right down our alley, the Hope This Works way. We had a making noise. We had a blazer that we were selling because I got a different pickup, so we were selling the blazer. Oh, good. I hope he's laughing with us and not at us. But anyway,
it pays to be interesting, doesn't it?
It does. I think so. Yeah.
Girl said it was our show.
Oh my goodness.
Your show.
I'm out.
Anyway.
She was talking. Sorry.
It's 9:30, Daryl. Oh,
I'm getting ready.
You have it up there? Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
There.
King of derailers.
King of derailers. Did you get, like, I was talking too nice about you or what?
Yeah.
All right. So Kevin works with wood. We had a blazer. That's what it was. We were selling the blazer. And the dude, nice dude, didn't quite have that much cash, but had a trade he'd make. And yeah, you know, we're all about trade. Okay. There was this old barn needed taken down. And so we have all this old barn wood. Tell me what kind of wood.
Hemlock and heart pine.
Yeah.
100 plus. It's over 100 years old.
Yes, and it's beautiful.
Oh, just,
Wood does things when it ages that you don't see anywhere else. When I met Kevin, he worked at a high-end
rifle
manufacturer. Yeah, and he took me on a tour of the place, and wood is gorgeous. It's sexy. It does things. It moves. Wood is love. And he has an inventory of some really nice wood stuff. And I think when he gets his portfolio put together and his pictures of the things that he has done, I think it's going to be a stunning display. I'm the one that usually asks him, hey, Kevin, can you do this? Because I don't know. You know, it might be Dr. Seussy, because that's kind of how I think about things. I don't know if that's physically possible, but he'll say, yeah, I think I can do that.
Usually it's the challenge accepted for me. Challenge accepted.
Well,
so
I would think you'd find it with the lack of standing timber in your area. I would think you'd find it difficult in your pursuit of the woodworking, just from the standpoint, geez, you don't have mills down the road. It doesn't seem to, anyway.
Well, actually, we do, and that's unique to our geographic area. They do a lot of select harvest. There's not a lot of hardwood stands, but you can still get some hardwood, some oak, and lots of hemlock, ponderosa pine, juniper, red cedar, things like that. So I did make a relationship with a guy, actually a new firewood guy, that has a government contract for thinning of this juniper patch. And juniper is beautiful wood. It has a really red core to it, almost like purple heart.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
An outside core is nice and blonde. There's actually a piece of juniper down there.
Sure.
Anyway, so by happenstance, I ran into a guy that is actually, we're going to make a deal in supplying some juniper for my woodworking, and I'm going to, barter some labor here and there, and it's going to be a nice little woodworking relationship. But for any type of hardwood specialties, I'll go through an online supplier like Bell Forest Products.
Okay. Yep.
In Michigan, so.
I'll show them that again. It's pretty. This is beautiful wood. This one says claimed. This one is mine. It's pretty wood.
She's staked her piece.
This is mine. Yep. I don't know what yet, but.
Okay. Well, let me address the folks here for just a moment, if you would. Okay. For those of you new in the room, we always do a couple trivia questions every week when we have guests on. And for our first trivia prize tonight is something a little different. It's very special to us. I'm sure you'll find it very special yourself. We're giving you a copy of the magazine called The New Pioneer. And the primary reason that we are giving away this copy is the lady you see here on the front page is Stacy Lynn Harris. And the complete article inside here on her. She is a former guest on our show. She is a speaker at the Homesteaders of America conference for the past couple of years in Virginia. Absolutely fabulous individual. Does have a YouTube channel. Does have commercial cooking shows. She is known for game
venison.
Yeah. For venison,
Mm-hmm.
for game cooking.
Mm-hmm.
It's just simply absolutely incredible. So we're giving away a copy of the Pioneer, the new Pioneer magazine, and she happens to be featured in it. So let me bring the trivia screen over, and I'll let Smudge give you the rules, and then we'll get down to asking you the questions.
I hope we can answer it.
Trivia time again, and we have to have some rules for this, so they are as follows. Number 1, you can only win once every 4 weeks. Number 2, you must be the first person to answer the question correctly in the chat window as it appears embedded on the screen here. Your chat window may have a different order. And number 3, you have to send an email to twofamilyhomestead@gmail.com. Send us your mailing address so we know where to send your winnings. Good luck.
Okay. Smudge should have explained the rules pretty well, but let me just reiterate here on a couple things because we always get a couple questions. The chat is embedded in the screen in front of you. That is the official order of the answers that we receive. The chat in your window, on your screen, on your computer, on your phone, on your device, on your television set, anything you have to be watching the show on is probably going to be in a different order, and that's just the way the internet works. This is the official one, the one that's on the screen. So having said all of that, the first question for everybody to figure out is, Kevin has a piece of coal as the mascot/logo for his Making Sawdust channel. What is the mascot's name? Prepstetter Bob. Prepstetter Bob is the winner.
Go, Bob.
Okay, Prepstetter Bob, you need to send us an email. Send the email to twofamilyhomestead@gmail.com. And we will be, and send us your mailing address, and we will be sending you the new Pioneer magazine.
I'm making fun.
Okay, you got that all written down?
Yeah. So, Kevin, I have a question for you.
You bet.
Of all your goodies that you have on your property to create with, what's the oldest that you have?
Ooh. That might be actually pretty easy. I'm going to have to verify the records of the Rolodex.
Talking to the little dude in his head, right? Okay.
I'm not crazy. Don't tell people I'm crazy.
Oh, Daryl has one of them too then. Okay.
It is a 10 horsepower Briggs & Stratton iron block attached to a gigantic generator head. Dates to 1953. I have plans for the motor, not the generator head. And that's one of my mad scientist projects. She won't let me put it in something make go fast, but I'm going to do it when she's gone. And
I'm going to wrap him in bubble wrap. Be all right.
Daryl, what's your oldest thing that you have here?
Me.
Aside from that.
Oh,
That's not, I'm not sure if that's a collectible.
I don't know.
You don't know? I do. Well, aside from all the bicycles that your kids did BMX bike racing that we're never going to use out there for Smudge to play with.
So what is the question? I was getting the phone ready here.
What's the oldest thing that you have here of your collectibles?
I don't know.
What about your shopsmith?
I don't know that that's the oldest, but It would rank up there.
It would rank up there, 'cause that was from your father.
Yeah, it would rank up there.
Yeah, that or that tractor that Smudge sits on every now and again.
Yeah, we have an old wheel horse outside.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, we
have a
too.
shopsmith in the garage, and an old shopsmith. But anyway, folks, the phone line is open. If you'd like to call in, say hello to Kevin or Billy Joe, and just say hi, wish them well, ask them questions.
If you want to call,
it's your nickel.
Phone's ringing, Billy Joe.
No, it's not.
it's for you, dear.
And I will let you know that we do only have one line here, so if we are engaged in a call, I can't take a second, so I would have to refuse a second call that comes in when that one is up, which has happened. I thought I'd better just run over here and look real quick. Okay. So I'm not seeing anybody call. I'm surprised. I think it's working. It should be working.
Yes, Rosanna, he did.
So anyway.
What kind of animals do you have?
I have 2 pit bull dogs that are 7 years old now, 6 years old, 7 years old now. They're lovely ladies. They're sisters, half sisters, and they're sweet. Cocoa Puff is a marshmallow, and Bailey is walking love. And I have a brown dog who thinks she's a dragon.
Now they think you're crazy.
It's true. She tells me she thinks she's a dragon. At any rate. And one maybe cat, but we haven't seen him in a couple days, so bummer.
Yeah.
And a rooster.
Yeah, rooster.
Hello, this is Darryl. Who's calling, please?
This is Nathan with Samson Farms.
Hey.
Nathan, how are you doing this evening?
Oh, I'm doing great. Had to come outside to make a phone call. So.
Okay, well, I believe I believe they can hear you just fine. They've so indicated anyway. So go right ahead and you're the star right now.
I wouldn't know about that, but I do know that Billy Joe and Kevin are some great people, and they're some of my greatest YouTube friends that I have out there. And I just try to support them every chance I get. And me and Temperance and my family, we just absolutely love them and just want to let them know.
We love you too, Nathan.
You rock, Nathan. That was so awesome to do that. Probably didn't have the thunder, if you just sent me a text. Oh, we love you, man.
Well, I text you and stuff during your live show, and since this is their live show, I figured I would actually make the phone call.
Yeah, that's a funny story, Nathan. He texted me one time and says, "Hey, your cabinet's crooked." I says, "Yeah, Nathan, I'm leaving it that way
Thanks.
too."
Dave said that's okay to be like that because there's a word for it.
Yeah. No, that was Sam.
Was it Sam?
Yeah.
I thought it was a Dave. Sorry, Sam. That sounds like a Sam thing.
No.
Okay. Was it Wabi Sabi?
Wabi Sabi.
It is the way that it should
Wabi
be.
Sabi.
You see?
Good job.
That was so awesome, Nathan. Do you want to come out in July sometime to do a few projects with us?
If everything works out the way I hope it to, yes, most definitely.
Absolutely.
Now see, folks, if you call in, you might get put to work.
We're taking reservations.
You can come hang out here if you want
been plotting on this work thing for about 8 months now.
I'm sorry, Nathan. Go ahead and repeat that. I don't think that they heard you.
Me and Kevin have been plotting on this work project and stuff. Me going out there to help him out for about 8 months now.
Plotting.
Well, and for those of you in the chat, we have somebody in the chat that's starting a new venture here. I'm gonna call it that this year. Mm-hmm. Prepstetter Bob.
Another great channel.
Yeah, Prepstetter Bob is embarking on. Well, I know it has Roadshow. I'm sorry, I get stuck in these things.
Yeah.
But for lack of a better term, they're traveling on a bus. He's kind of gotten together with Big Family Homestead. If anybody has heard of that little channel over there, we've known them for a long time here now, and they are going to go around and travel around to some various homesteads. And it's my understanding Kevin's place is on the list for the first round. So I don't know if he's using them as a guinea pig or what, but
Yeah, there you go. Rocky C, self-reliant roadshow.
Self-reliant.
They helped you put those words in your mouth.
Well, thank you. Yes, self-reliant roadshow. I knew it was roadshow, and we're looking forward to seeing what all's going on with that. It's an interesting concept, and we're just kind of taking a look to see. But Prep Setter Bob is in the chat. And I see he's saying here late June, early July, he's going to be heading out to Kevin's place. So
We hope the snow's melting.
Well, Bob, I can tell you, you turn off the paved road and go 4 miles, and when you run out of the road, you're there.
That is how I've given people directions.
Yes, go to the end, go to the end, go to the end, and I'm at the end. Yep.
Get a call back. Hey, I think I'm at the end. I says, no, you're not. You're not at the end.
That's not it. Yeah.
That's what.
So yes,
that's something I'd like to do when we start getting the camp route is stopping.
What, just go to the end of the road?
Not going to the end of the road, but stopping and meeting up with folks.
Sure.
Yeah. Not to the extent that Bob and his wife are doing, but yeah, visiting.
I see North Star Prep Setter is asking if Bob will be able to turn around your driveway. But they may be planning this to keep him there for a while. Maybe he drives in and can't get back out. It's like a snare.
Hopefully, by then it should be, there's ample room to turn around most of the time. Right now, though, I have to do a 16-point turn to get out of my driveway.
it kind of got encroached. The more snow we got, the further we pushed it back. The more snow we got, the farther we can't push it back, and it just kept encroaching. It's a 16-point turn right now, but if Bob wants to turn around out in the pasture out there, he's more than welcome.
And ride circles around the house most of the time, yeah.
He better bring a sandwich. It's going to take him a week to get back to the driveway.
So, do you have any livestock out? Do you have chickens? Do you have pigs? Do you have cows? Do you have horses, donkeys, goats?
Barn before we go deep into livestock. We do have the one rooster. It wasn't my idea to start with a male chicken. I want some hens, so we just have the one rooster. He's a nice enough rooster. He really is going to be a great daddy. I just need we need to this spring get the chicken coop built, and then I do intend to have some lovely chicken ladies running around.
Okay, so you have the alarm clock. You just need to get the eggs.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
it's a good way to put it.
Yeah, he's a good rooster. I came across him in the trade somehow. I just brought him home one day. Him and his little brother, and his little brother didn't last very long because he got mad, and he didn't last long. Let's say
we know where chicken nuggets come from.
Yep.
Tiny little roosters. Okay, so and we had a pig.
Yep. So, he's. I guess he went to the processor. Yeah.
Kind of.
It's kind of soon.
It is might be. I might be able. Do you want me to not?
Well, I think you just did. I think I will.
I think so. Okay, so our last big snowstorm and the wind blowing.
Before this.
Samson had been. Or not Samson. Napoleon. Sorry, Nathan. Jeez. Samson. Oh, well, it must be. Yeah. Napoleon the pig, his pen, which is a nice big pen, was getting very deeper and deeper in snow. And overnight, it would change drastically. The snow can move. And Kevin was doing a bang-up job keeping it to where you could get to him and bring food, and just overnight one night, he got buried in snow.
Pretty much encroached too much. The wind was coming out of the north at 30 mile an hour. It was 20 below overnight, 20 below during the day. He has a shelter, but it's only, three-sided, so with that wind, it was coming straight in at him, and I knew he wasn't doing too good. He'd already passed a couple processing dates that we had to skip because of weather. We couldn't get him there. So just feeding him, and keeping his metabolism going and praying. And went out there that afternoon, and he was dead. So can't take him to the processor at that point. So I called a good friend of mine to help me through my little moment, and I've quartered, Venice deer and things like that. So I salvaged what we could salvage off, and hung it up in the cold spot. So that was about all we could do. And that was actually quite a shock for us as homesteaders. First large piece of livestock.
It was my first food critter, yeah.
This was actually, it put us into that's something we want to be able to bring to our homestead channel and explain to people how not only traumatic, but it's your food supply. So you have to be able to make.
It was a big investment.
Oh, absolutely. And not to make light, but just went to freezer camp unexpectedly.
Sure, he went to freezer camp.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
But those are some of the things that you can face on a homestead. And that was our very first time facing that particular situation.
And it's hard to face that. It feels like a little bit like failure, although it isn't, because we learned things from it. We can move forward with that.
Sure.
And it's not like, I mean, in our general location, there are ranchers that lost calves all winter long. It's not an unusual thing to have happen.
Sean has lost 8 calves in the last 2 months due to their normal cyclic activity, calving.
Big calf,
and usually it's not this bad this long. So he's lost 8 calves, and that's a huge amount of dollar bills for a small ranch. So everybody really geographically has been facing the same types of challenges. And at no point we want to really present, oh, poor us.
Oh, no, it's just one of those things that happened,
Part of something we can bring awareness to and help another person. When we're creating community like this, we're effectively and transparently communicating our thoughts and sharing a portal into our lives of what it could be like, and maybe what we might want to. I ran out of words. It's like a gas.
I knew it was coming. I could hear him winding down. Oh.
That's why I have her. She's a literary genius. She knows big words and stuff. And she's smart.
So in the future though, you have plans for some more chickens.
Yeah.
And perhaps some other livestock, perhaps.
I would love to have a barn first. I'm interested in all kinds of things. Cows really aren't hard. Really. Sheep, I think, are interesting, but I'm a goat. I would like to have a couple goats. I think that would be my speed of things, but I want them to have an enclosure first. So we're going to have to build a barn, and he's going to have to sell some wood stuff first.
We'll get there.
Yep.
And I'll do pigs again. I'd like to get 2 little piglets this spring.
Yep.
And we'll see what happens there, cycle them through. The biggest thing is weather out here.
Well, how about
and parts geographically can have different types of challenges. So it's interesting being able to have YouTube and be able to have that portal into another person's reality, let's say.
Yeah, our portal has had snow in it forever.
It's a snow portal.
It's been snow.
So do you hunt at all? Is there any livestock that from that aspect that you go out and
Let me tell you a story. Long time. I was a die-hard bow hunter back in Michigan. It very rarely went rifle hunting, but I was a bow hunter. I loved that. peace and that challenge and that the stalking and the harvest. You know, it was not just for sport. It was a harvest. And out here, people hunt speed goats with bow and arrow. I was like, what the heck is a speed goat? You guys know what? That's the next trivia question, Daryl. First comment that can answer that correctly gets
what?
I don't know. What can we give away?
Don't give away my pen.
Can I give away anything on Daryl's show?
You can do probably whatever you want.
Yeah.
I actually, no, true. I have an idea. I have a framed photograph. It's about yay big. How big is that?
Oh, yay big.
I love it. And it is kind of a gray frame, and it's holding a postcard from Devil's Tower, which is part of Wyoming. It's first national monument, and it's a stunning sight. And if somebody knows what a speed goat is, I'd be happy to send that to them.
Bob wins again.
Bob, you're gonna have to pick it up when you get here, man.
Save me on shipping, Bob.
That's right. Good job, Bob.
Actually, an antelope. We actually eat antelope. It's really not that much different than a white-tailed deer. We have mule deer out here too. Mm-hmm. Certainly don't get as big, but antelopes are probably a 100-pound animal, 110-pound animal. And they call them speed goats because they will just race across the prairie. They'll go for miles. And they're a very elusive critter to hunt. But I really do want to.
Antelope are elusive?
Very elusive.
I've seen hundreds and thousands of them out here. They like the plains.
Well, for archery hunter, they're elusive because you have to get close enough to them, and they can hear you a mile away.
Yeah, I could see them probably taking off if somebody showed up. Okay. Yeah, I grew up, my grandfathers both always had game in the freezer and something hanging in the garage, you know. And there's a wonderful walleye lake just on the other side of the little town that's here. So fishing is one of my favorite, ways to.
And coming from Michigan originally, I'm a diehard fisherman. So we really want to put more time into balance and relaxation and getting out in the water. So
Billy Joe, you're from that area?
I'm born in Wyoming, just south of here is Casper. Been in this part of Wyoming for most of 20 years, 20 plus.
Yep. Okay. Well, I'll tell you what, you guys take just a little break here. We'll do another trivia question, come back, maybe get some more people to call in. I don't know if everybody's embarrassed here this evening. Not embarrassed, but just quiet. It's awful quiet this evening out there. So, all right, let me bring this over. Trivia question number 2. We have a cookbook called the Immersion Blender Cookbook, and we will be sending this out to you. It's an introduction by Wolfgang Puck. If anybody's ever heard of him. So we have a cookbook to give away, and we'll let Smudge explain the rules one more time.
Hi, folks. It's trivia time again, and we have to have some rules for this, so they are as follows. Number 1, you can only win once every 4 weeks. Number 2, you must be the first person to answer the question correctly in the chat window as it appears embedded on the screen here. Your chat window may have a different order. And number 3, you have to send an email to twofamilyhomestead@gmail.com. Send us your mailing address so we know where to send your winnings. Good luck.
Okay, and again, just so everybody is aware, the official order of answers coming in is embedded on the screen. If you've won in the past 4 weeks, you cannot win again. Prep Setter Bob, this means you've already won tonight, so you can't do it again. But it's open to everybody else. So, the question that we have this time, everybody should get. So if you're ready, we'll get right to it here. Bummer. Okay. Question number 2 is, Kevin is not a Wyoming native. What state did he reside in before moving there?
This one's difficult, folks.
He covered that, yeah.
Yep.
He was paying attention.
I know.
Yeah, me too.
Rosanna, Dana.
Rosanna.
She was paying attention.
Right on.
All right, Rosanna. If you need to send us an email to twofamilyhomestead@gmail.com. Send us your mailing address. We'll get this book out to you.
Rosanna.
Okay.
Stivers, that's where you're from, not where he was from.
All right, we'll leave the phone line open. Kevin, are you able to stay with us a little bit longer? It's been just roughly an hour here. It's up to you. You're the star of the show here this evening, so we're it's your nickel, and everybody else that's here, I think everybody's having a good time. To let you know, there's some 50 to 60 people in the room still, and we're having a good time. Hope you are.
It's cool. It's fun. It really is.
Are you as nervous as you were earlier? Folks, you should have seen them.
I went over to Dave and Darcy's live stream before this just to kind of calm my nerves and not come out of my skin. I've done 28 live streams myself, and with her,
it felt like doing a first one, though. It did.
Yeah, like very first.
Yeah, it's different when you're on somebody else's.
Mm-hmm.
And I know most of the people that are here too, so it's not really it's interesting. Kevin's beard is rocking.
Practical Modern Homestead.
Yeah.
She was nervous as all get out. Yeah.
So the phone line is open if anybody would like to call in, say hello, wish them well.
Kevin, Heritage Farms, Texas wants to know how long you've been growing your beard.
Since it started.
I like that answer. Samson Farm said you were born with it.
No, how long has it been? You had this for a long time. You had
Yeah, I used to have just a little goatee for the longest time, probably about 10 years, and then probably the last 3.5, I just started letting it, just do its thing, man, because it wanted to be free.
He doesn't like to shave it,
and I hate shaving. So, little known fact. Maybe somebody can answer this trivia question. Did I win some sort of award last year for this? And what was the nickname that person gave me?
Nathan knows.
Nathan knows. Spoiler. I won the 2018 Beardies put on by Tom at Whistle Thicket Farmstead. And I even got a certificate, Pirate of the Prairie.
Cool.
It was like nomination, and then people voted that nomination. There was people in the likes of Doug Stacy, 1870s Homestead, and there was some
nice looking beards.
I don't know how my
beard,
funny looking thing got through the pre-screening process, but
just a nice
Green Acre Homesteads, Kevin, what was the first wood thing you made for money? Then what's your favorite thing to make?
Yes.
You need a minute?
What was the first thing I made for money? Actually, the first cutting board, I gave that to you. What did I make for
that
money?
Way.
Actually, the
first thing you sold was it the shelves things?
Oh yeah, yeah. There were 2 of them, but there were 3-tiered like craft displays made out of
produce bins.
Yeah,
they were cool.
They're actually displayed some of my wares in the store across the way. The favorite thing I like to make sawdust. I want to make anything, any crazy idea a customer comes to me with, and she comes to me.
You're fine. Just keep going.
Don't get me swirled. I don't.
Don't
Okay.
Guys.
I really love making cutting boards. They transform through the milling process, the glue up process. You cut it back apart if you want to, which seems just like sacrilege, and then you glue it back together. And the hand sanding process, power sanding process. I think hand sanding is actually therapeutic for me. And then you get to oil this creation that I have seen with my eyes transform, but then it goes to a completely different state when you oil it, when you finish it.
It's kind of magic.
So it's real magical for me.
Thank you for asking that question, because I tell you my favorite thing that he makes too. I'm fascinated by the boxes. I think there's a million ways to build a box. Now, I am partial to the cutting boards, right? Because they're gorgeous.
Great,
they're
Sam.
stunning. Yes, that.
They are organized.
But the boxes are just fascinating to me. There's so many ways to do it. So many different directions you can go with it.
Well,
Yes.
I love another cutting board, butcher block. My mom had a beautiful one. I don't know where it ever went to. I think I know where it went to, but
Love mine. Love it.
yeah.
I really like the finite work, the small work. I did a custom run of 20 boxes for a customer in Houston, Texas. My own design, the collaborative design with him, what he needed, what he wanted. I came up with my take on it, sent him the prototype. He said, "Oh, I love it." Ordered 20 of them. And they were just a small knife display box, but there was a lot of hand sanding in it to just make the lids fine-tuned and perfect. And I think I enjoyed that process so much, being able to not just whip it out, but actually take so much care in this perfection. I really want to get into like custom jewelry boxes or small curios and things like that. Almost like building full-size hot rod compared to a model car. Like this fine work. But I also have a big farmhouse trestle table build that I'm doing that I'm super excited about too. So really anything I touch, I just want to build it, want to create it, give it to somebody.
Kevin would love it if somebody would say, "Here's a piano, turn it into something."
Yes, I'm going to turn a piano into something.
He's dying, waiting for somebody to come along and say, "Here's this old piano. I don't want it anymore, but can you make it into a..."
Homestead Paradise is asking, what is the most tedious thing you have ever built, Kevin?
Samson Farm answers an actual goat.
A goat.
I've never built a goat, Nathan.
Okay, that's
What's most tedious? Actually, I'm in process right now of this trestle table. It's kind of my own design and reclaimed 50-year-old Douglas fir. So there's a lot of milling, and the wood is transforming as I'm milling it and creating it. So it's becoming pretty tedious and almost mentally daunting, because I see so many processes, so many steps, and it's almost slowing me down because I'm thinking about too far in the future, and I just need to focus on basic joints, basic steps, basic milling processes. Put A before B and C after B, just one step at a time.
Yep.
Did you see the other one Green Acres asked?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Green Acres is asking, how big is your shop? And if you would talk about how you built it.
It's made of pallets,
Pretty much, yeah.
Mostly.
Inside footprint is 13 by 18. Has a 312 pitch on the roof that are all rough cut 2x4 from this barn salvage I did. 1, 2 and a half walls are pallets. This workbench that I'm leaning against right now is actually structure of the wall. 20-foot ridge beam that's double 2x6 laminated, old growth hemlock that I hung myself. I built everything out here. I can count the new 2x4s that I use.
1, 2.
Less than 10.
Okay.
So down to recycled screws and nails and you name it. Built out of necessity.
Tell them about the insulation, dear.
Oh, yeah. 1 inch thick, expanded foam insulation in the ceiling. That's all repurposed from a job that she had, and they throw all this stuff. It's cut in 24 by 24 squares, and it gets thrown away because it's from an incoming carton to the place. All the insulation is salvaged from projects, bartered. So literally, I probably have less than $100 into my whole tiny wood shop. It's actually very workable. I like the ergo feel. I can, just the way it's set up. I don't want to walk. I envy guys with 40 by 60 pole barn and wood shops.
But then the thing you need is way.
But I don't want to walk across the county to use the bandsaw. So feel very fortunate. I do need more room, but that will happen this summer. I have a couple of additions. So,
well, Kilted Gardner wants to know why the cabinet to the right of you is not level.
Wabi sabi.
It's wabi sabi. You already know that answer, Robert. I can tell you that if you want to really hear the story about it, I'll tell you the story about it. It was the very first cabinet in the shop above my miter station, and it probably wasn't in the greatest shape anyway to begin with. I stuck it up there, and I'm using a little 1-foot torpedo level, and man, it was dead on. And I got a pretty good eye anyway. I kind of always looked at it, man, that looks a little funny, but I never questioned it. I inherited a 4-foot Stanley wood level, really nice one, and I bet you that cabinet's crooked. And I stuck that 4-foot level on it. Man, it's way out. I'm like, guess where that torpedo level went? Out the door. And then I kept looking at that cabinet and thought, man, I ought to fix that for a couple months. And then I scored some cabinets through a job and put those on the wall, and it really accentuated the cabinet crookedness. And I thought, you know what? It's not hurting anything.
That's right. There's no point in fixing it. It's not really broken. It is as it should be. Wabi sabi.
Wabi sabi. So now it's kind of my sticker cabinet. Oh, I can't. Wait. So I'm just going to cover it in stickers.
Well, Bullfrog Swamp Homestead is asking you, do you do wood turning with a lathe?
I have my shopsmith that I want to do wood turning with. I pretty much a bare bones shopsmith when I purchased it last summer, but I didn't have a wood turning faceplate, chuck, no tailstock or live center, or dead center, or anything, no tool post. So what I've done, actually, I have that piece right here.
Yeah, what did you do about it there?
I built my own forge and cast my own aluminum. Looks surprisingly like the bottom of a coffee can, and it's approximately the same dimension. This is going to be an aluminum faceplate for my shopsmith, so then I can start to turn spindles and wood stuff. So yeah, again, drink a lot of Mountain Dew, melt them into a chunk of aluminum, drill some holes in it, onto your shopsmith, and that's called repurposing and resourceful homesteading. It's a good plug for the channel.
Well, yeah, that was really good.
I made sure of that. It's so awesome.
Good question.
Okay.
We want
just glancing back through the chat here, making sure I didn't miss anything. I don't see anything. So Billy Joe, you also have a YouTube channel, I understand.
I do. It's fledgling.
That sounds like a small animal.
It's
kind of like a bird.
It's a small furry animal. Yeah. No. I started more on the Facebook platform, and did my thing kind of parallel with Kevin learning YouTube. So now we both kind of have a greater understanding of both platforms. And I kind of am shy, and it's hard to be on camera. So I've kind of come over to the YouTube side, not quite kicking and screaming, but
is that like
I don't know
coming
how
over to
to
the
my
dark
name.
side? Spell that for me, Billy Joe, so I can find it here.
What do I?
Your channel name.
Spell your channel name so I can find it.
What is my name is Billy Joe.
Your channel name, silly girl.
Just put something in the chat.
What is it? Oh, okay. I can do that. Here.
It?
Here. It's here. Wait, I'm here. Here we are.
You say hello.
Hello. That's me. Okay, yeah.
There we go.
I forgot that was over there. But my YouTube channel is kind of a video representation. I do a lot of writing, and some of this stuff that I write about would be better presented orally. So I give it a face and give it a whirl. I do a lot of work in self-development, personal development, and I'm a life coach. That's my basket for the homestead.
Well, we just subscribed.
Oh, well, thank you. Slightly larger furry animal. Okay.
So what are your plans here for this year? Do you have any big projects that this is the year you want? What do you most want to have accomplished during this next upcoming summer?
I want to bang and garden. I really want to be able to take stuff to the farmer's market and all kinds of veggies. That's one of my main focuses. I would also like to get our worm farm kind of producing
more.
Yeah.
I would say more of an industrial scale.
Yeah.
I have some plans on how I want to really level up in that area of making worm castings and worms, primarily for soil amendment. We don't have black dirt in Wyoming. That just doesn't happen here. So soil amendment is huge. So crossing over, that's one of the big projects, is to get our vermicomposting into an industrial type, so we can actually be having some revenue off casting, but also around soil amendment, which also leads into our greenhouse and our gardens. Mm-hmm. System-wise, project-wise, is I need, I would chicken coop, definitely. Yep. New pig pen off across the way, and basically refine our water system. Which it would include storage and pipe to pump to various areas. Valves and fittings are not cheap, and engineering a system that I have that's up here may be not cheaper. Because I want to be able to have a working system where I can come out in the shop and throw a valve and I can be filling up water tanks in the greenhouse, or throw a valve and filling up chicken water areas, flip a couple more valves and pull out of the pond to go to the cistern. So infrastructure in our water system is probably the biggest thing.
And a barn.
And
I live in a work in progress. My house has been a construction zone since day one. It's a slow process. It's not necessarily at the top of the list, but boy, one more room would be great.
Yeah. Pretty much, we like our dwelling. We're comfortable.
Absolutely.
We live with 3 smelly dogs and Kevin. So we would like to do a house addition, but I think any structure that gets built next. I actually have 90% of materials for a 48 by 48 barn with a little corner cut out of it. So I need, working real hard to get a little bit of cash saved up which is going to buy some new lumber and fasteners, and bam, we are ready to go. We have trusses, metal roofing, metal siding, doors, all kinds of stuff like that. So that's a huge project right there, infrastructure-wise.
Okay. Well, do you have any anything you'd like to share with the folks out there before we kind of close? I see a lot of people are saying they got to get to bed, and we certainly understand that.
Farmer Brad, the groundhog, was just confused.
Yes.
I don't think he's ever seen that situation here in Wyoming. I've never seen a groundhog in my life that I remember saying, "Oh yeah, winter's over." Well, okay, no, didn't work that way.
Really, I'd like to close out our session saying, Sherry, Daryl, you've been incredibly gracious. We have been scheduled for, I think, right around 4 months.
It's been a while.
And he's getting closer. I'm just increasing amount of anxieties. Thank you for lessening that burden. Excellent conversation, folks. You have a great community here. We really do appreciate having you on, or you having us on. Thank you for welcoming me. I'd like to say, everybody in the chat, if I have not formally said hello to you all, I am now. A lot of my friends are here. A lot of folks that subscribe to me, follow me, are here. That's really awesome. The crossover between our channels. You keep doing your Monday Night Lives. That's awesome, guys.
Glad we had you on.
Yeah, we certainly enjoyed having you folks.
Enjoy watching all your projects.
And do stay in touch. By all means, please stay in touch. Folks, don't forget, tomorrow night is our Tech Tuesday. So we'll be doing that tomorrow night. That's when I get to do most of the talking. And then Thursday night we'll do a kind of a support stream for the it's the crazy night. Thursday night's our crazy night. We do a support stream especially for the smaller channels, try to give us some exposure and just kind of try to help critique their channels, give them a different viewpoint of what other people see in their channels. So with that, folks, we thank you so much. Next week, the Flip Flop Barnyard will be our guest. And we are still looking forward to that.
Yeah, they're the ones that were hit with the hurricane in Florida.
Oh, my.
And are now living in Virginia. They lost everything.
They lost everything. So
yeah,
that should be a real good show next week. Kevin, Billy, Joe, thank you so much.
Thank you. It was great.
Yeah.
I love getting to know people like this.
Yeah, do stay in touch. And I don't know what to say. Just, keep in touch, and we will stay in touch on this end as well. So
thanks, everyone, for being here.
Thanks, everyone, for being here. Have a great evening. Bye-bye.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
guys.